here. I'm not sure where they're situated on your screen, but I have a few of my friends here for this pro networking event. Like I said, this is the Echo Means Business YouTube channel, and this is Hardscaping Asphalt Maintenance, which I don't know really how much hardscaping we all do here. I know forcefully sometimes next to our driveways or some of our areas, we do have to do a little bit of hardscaping, but I know there is plenty of asphalt maintenance stuff here for us to talk about. So, real quick, what I'm going to do is get some introductions. So, this is probably the first time live or in some other videos, form or fashion, you have seen my face on the Echo Means Business YouTube channel. And if you have been on the echomeansbusiness.com website, you've probably seen some of my videos, some posts, and things like that. But I'm Marvin. I own Wiscote Asphalt Maintenance here in Lone Rock, Wisconsin. And I also host Blacktop Banter, which is a podcast for the asphalt maintenance industry, which we haven't been posting too many of them lately as we've been winding down the season here. But usually in the winter, we get into it pretty heavy. And I get into talking to these guys pretty heavy as we do have a Blacktop Banter clubhouse. And we talk about a lot of stuff, I would say, don't we, guys? So what I'm going to do is, just kind of go around here. We'll introduce everybody, and I'm going to go in the order that I see you guys on my screen. I'm pointing this way, but actually Warren's over here on this side on my screen. So, Warren, you want to introduce yourself and tell us about your business and where you're from?
Yep, I'm Warren, and I own Clear Choice Sealing and Striping. I'm located in the little town of Center, Kentucky. And the only real interest I have right now is Pavement Guru. I help out with that a little bit. I'm not into a podcast or anything yet. But yeah, we've been in business 6 years now. First year full time was this year. Been a pretty amazing season. Pretty interesting way to go about doing things.
Yeah, I know. You and I were talking earlier, or I guess it would have been last week or so. You kind of messaged me and was like, "Dude, we did it." Like, yeah, we did it. I was like, yeah, man, I'm super excited for you. So it's great news. Glad to hear. Warren and I are friends from way back, way back. And we've always had each other back. So I appreciate you being here and joining us, Warren, tonight. Now I'm going to sneak down. Let's try to get the angle right. Let's see that right there. That's Scott down that way. So Scott, yeah, you want to introduce yourself? Let us know where you're located at and how long you've been at it and your business.
Yeah, I'm Scott Morse. I operate Arch City Seal Coating in St. Louis, Missouri. Been doing that for 6 seasons. And I also do the Blacktop Tech Talk, which is kind of an introductory, educational YouTube channel that helps spread some basic educational information about blacktop maintenance.
Yeah, I know you and I've talked quite a bit, and like I said, I need to come down and see you pretty soon, Scott. It's in the plans. I promise, it's in the plans. I'm going to weasel my way down there, and then I got to head to Texas and see some of our other friends and things like that. So it's going to be a long time, I think, before I get to Ryan's. But it's in the plans for me to head that way. I'm just not sure when it's going to happen. I know how to point this one. So Ryan is right below me on the screen here. So Ryan, same thing, same rundown. Let us know where you're from and your business and all that jazz.
My name is Ryan Bean. I'm based out of Massachusetts, Western Massachusetts, out here in the Northeast. And my company is Ginger Cat Seal Coating, and we do all sorts of asphalt maintenance, seal coating, crack sealing, line striping, asphalt patching. I've been doing this full time. This was my 4th season full time. I've been doing it about 8 or 9 years. It started off as a side gig, which I'm sure is the case for a lot of people. And I've been having some success as the years go on, building and just being creative and just trying to venture out there and do some good work for my clients. And Warren and Scott and Marvin, you guys have been part of my learning curve since day one. And it's really kind of cool to meet up with you guys on this forum and possibly help some other people out that are getting into the asphalt maintenance business.
Ryan
is the MacGyver.
He's what?
Asphalt maintenance.
The guy.
Ryan is the MacGyver of asphalt.
Oh, MacGyver. I got you. Yeah, that's definitely true. If you see that crack sealing trailer, you'll definitely agree with that.
You got to be creative. Once you're starting, you start with $100 and you're starting a business. There's only one way to keep building is hard work and creativity. And you guys know that just like anyone else that's ever tried to run a company, is you got to put your mind to work just as much as anything else. And I really enjoy the challenge of trying to figure it all out as I go.
Ryan, I'm going to ask you the question that everybody probably wants to know. Why did you name your business Ginger Cat Seal Coating? No, I'm messing. I'm messing with you.
Yeah.
You don't. I'm messing
Obviously, I'm a redhead. I'm a ginger. And it started off as a joke. My brother-in-law, who's still working with me to this day, he's been with me for 8 seasons. Full time, part time, everywhere in between. But he used to just call me Ginger Kitten. And then when it came to trying to figure out a name for the business, he just says, "Why don't you call it Ginger Cat Seal Coating?" And that's what it ended up sticking with.
No, now it's iconic. There's a Ginger Cat sticker here at the Wiscoat shop on the war table, man. So it's iconic. Now everybody knows Ginger Cat. So cool. I want to say what's up to all the other Echo Means Business UAG members. I see you over there on the chat on YouTube. Love seeing the support and the fact that they're in here. Pretty epic. All right, so we talk about this. I think we talked about it last week in the Blacktop Banter Clubhouse, but we should really quick do maybe a season recap real quick. Just, kind of just an easy season recap, what all went down. And then we'll kind of talk about, the main thing we always talk about when we all talk together, whether it's the Clubhouse or Blacktop Banner and text, is what we bought and then how we used it and how we liked it. We talk about that stuff quite a bit. And I think we'll head over there and check it out. So, all right, cool. So I see Scott said hello, everybody over there in the chat. Who else did I see? The landscape manicurist, Tino, everybody, and I see they're all where they're from. So pretty cool. Glad to see everybody over there. All right, so here at Wiscoat, what did we get this year? Oh yeah, we bought an infrared patcher. So we were very excited about that. That was our big piece of equipment. We also upgraded our backpack blowers. We did get the Echo 9010 and loved it as well. So we used all that stuff kind of hand in hand. You guys know that. You can't really leave the shop or the day without having all your pieces of equipment. And then if you do leave one, it's a nightmare. So it really helped out having the fact that we were going 2 different ways. Seal coating crew, crack filling / patching crew would go. And we had more than one piece of essential equipment, whether it was cleaning equipment or whatever, on these all different units. So for us here at Wiscoat, that was a big deal. The fact that we all didn't have to be together because there was only one tool that both crews needed or things like that. So that was really helped us out this year. The infrared patcher was our big thing. So the infrared heater patcher, whatever you want to say, I'll kind of explain it for people that don't know what that is. It takes heat, which it lays down on the blacktop. It's almost like a giant rectangular pad, I guess you would say, but it's made out of steel. Kind of looks like a box that sits low to the ground. The propane heats the asphalt. You move it away. You'll either add some rejuvenator or some fresh asphalt to it. I seen, Warren, you had some pucks made, right, for some patches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then you put those in, heat those up as well, and it makes that nice and fresh. So did you have any we might as well transition to you, Warren, and talk about equipment and stuff, because I want to ask you about the pucks that you were making made out of asphalt. Are
Everybody
those
wants to know about those.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna come down and get a load of them, probably bring them all back. They look so nice. So do you use those for infrared heating as well?
So we do not have an infrared heater yet. Right now, I actually wanted to ask you how that. Did you start getting a lot of calls for it once people realized you had it?
We did, and really, it's hard to explain where I'm at. I'm pretty rural, which you are as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to explain, but when we did have it out on projects and people drove by, you seen them slow down quite a bit, and they just couldn't quite believe what it was. Really, what I like to do is, when we were evaluating a property, I would throw that out there that we had this unit, because not a lot of people know what it is, and then we can explain how we use it and things as well. But yeah, once we started using it, it went really well. One of our good friends and your guys' good friends, Kyle Asione, I think that's how you say his name. He grabbed our other unit, so we bought 2 of them. He came here, purchased that unit, and he said that he paid for it and then some very, very easily. So they're in more of a urban area, I guess you'd say, or suburban area. And
Marvin, what's the size on that infrared unit that you got?
Yeah, the one we got was a 4x6 unit. I did have experience with a 4x4 unit before. Ours is an ARS system, um, which is one of the, I would say one of the leaders. I think there's only a few that you guys probably know, like Kasi and some of these other real big ones. But that unit was really good for us because honestly, we went and took a half-ton pickup truck with a longer bed, and it fit right in there. And actually, when we used it the first time, I think we put it in that pickup bed, and then we unhooked our dump trailer, took that thing down, and used it. Took the blacktop that we had was in the dump trailer, so we just used that to bring everything back up on that first patch that we used. The nice thing I liked about it is when we did have two of them, is that those units actually linked together. There was a pin that would go in and they could link together. So you could either make it a 4x12 or you could make it a 6x8, or no, wait, a 4x12 or an 8x6 is what you could make it if you wanted to make patches for that. The 4x12, if you're going to do a longer stretch, like I think I seen Warren did one the other day that was a longer stretch, it would have been
Yeah.
ideal for that because you could pull that whole unit off, plate compact, loot it, and then plate compact it back in. It looked really nice for that one, but I enjoyed it. But Warren, what were you using the pucks for? The hot box. You got a hot
So
box?
we haven't used the pucks. Patching really for us is brand new this year. We looked at it, and it's been the best way to extend our season. Of course, Ryan, I watched when you bought the dump truck and stuff and started doing a little bit more of it.
That's still how it's going, just a straight up dump truck and hard work.
Hey, I'm not there yet, but would love to have one. We're like you, we're rural. So the only asphalt plant, I mean, there's another one about 70 miles away, but the closest asphalt plant to us is 35 to 40 miles. So, trying to get just a few tons out to the job and it'd be still hot when you got there and workable was pointless. So we just, man, guys, I'll watch auctions and I'm just always looking for equipment and lucked into a great deal. We bought a hot box out of Moline, Illinois. It's just a 2-ton hot box. So you have to kind of, figure out the optimal patch with 2 tons. And so the pucks, what they're for, the plant closes, I think they close tomorrow. And so really, everyone of you guys remember Dennis Stiegel, one of my good friends. He always told me, when you buy this hot box, start making pucks. And in the wintertime, you can do emergency repairs with those. You throw them in the night before, heat them up, and then reuse them. It's kind of an untested thing for me, to be honest with you. I've got a ton of those things sitting around to put in that hot box the minute somebody calls me and wants a pothole repaired. So we'll see how they do. I tried it with some old material, and it heated up pretty fast. I mean, it wasn't anything I would put in somebody's, parking lot because it was old material. And I figure all the oils are gone out of it. But with the virgin, I mean, and I think it's Cassie is where I read it on one of their websites. With the virgin material, you can heat it one time and use it that way. So that, we always end up with a few shovelfuls or sometimes a half a ton left over after a job. And so that's what we were doing with it. It was just we made some forms and put them in there and made those pucks.
Well,
we'll see how it goes.
I seen you did some patchwork recently, like I was talking about. I seen some of those longer ones and things like that, and what you're going to be doing with the pucks. I've seen guys use those on infrared as well, but also we've seen some of your commercial work this year. So I've seen a beautiful church that you guys done. It turned out fantastic. Looked like. Do you kind of want to give us a recap of your season, Warren, and how it went? Maybe give us a breakdown too of residential versus commercial, because a lot of people when they're starting out, I used to be strictly residential. You guys know that. When I first started putting myself out there, I was like, I want commercial work. Somebody teach me how to get it. And that's kind of why I started doing all this stuff, because I wanted to learn. But do you want to give us a breakdown maybe and how that looked?
Yeah, so this was our best season ever. Obviously, going full-time changed a lot of that. People saw us out working more. We marketed the thing to death. And we have always been big with churches in our area. That's been, I tell everybody to find kind of a niche. And that's kind of the niche I found, because for our particular company, churches are perfect. They're easy to work on. Usually there's not a lot of traffic. You can close areas down when you need to. But I'll be honest with you, residential the last 2 years has been it for us. We do a lot of commercial, but it seems like residential has really been where it's at, because some of the companies that were kind of, the bigger companies that did residential have moved into the commercial space more. And so we've taken a lot of that residential stuff over. Obviously, we're always trying to figure out, hey, where do you get the commercial work? And we've done some of the national service providers this year. We did get into some of those, and some of, in our area, the people that know who Clear Choice Sealing and Striping is now, and the local restaurants and the stuff local right to us, they're going to call us. It's, I told somebody the other day, I painted Ballard County black this year because every road you go down, you see something that we seal coated, whether it be a house or be a commercial restaurant. But it was probably, I want to say 62% residential for us. And then our year was tripled. This is the three times our best year in the past. That's what we did this year. So it was amazing.
Good. And isn't it crazy? We had a conversation kind of before the season started. Everybody's nervous about that when they first jump. They're like, man, what if I don't make it? And with our conversations and our group, our peer group, our community that we've put together in the asphalt maintenance industry, it's almost foolproof, because there's the only time that you kind of fall short is when you really shoot big for gains. It's not like you're not going to survive and you're not going to make it until next year. We have a great network of friends that teach you how to at least do that. It's the growth, and thankfully, with our group and things like that, we've made it to where, even if we fall short of that growth, which we did this year, I wish we would have grown more. I wanted to, I seen it. We just didn't get a chance to. It's just one of those things. You regroup and then you go at it again. But when I hear that story, let me see which way I got to point here. Wait, it's this one. Wait, no, it's this one. Warren.
That's it.
saying that it was the best year ever. Obviously, you're going to be fine. I love hearing that, because y'all are my friends and everybody in our industry is my friends. I like hearing that. It's like, okay, cool. We all did our part. Now, at some point, I'm going to have to ask Warren about those darn pucks. So we all kind of have each other and support each other. So it's really good to hear, Warren. I'm glad to hear that, man. Absolutely.
I think having a network of friends like this and people that are in the same industry, and with today's technology being able to reach out so easily, it gives you the advantage to improve. And when you're always improving or making strides to improve, you're going to eventually get success. And when you have such a great network of people, you can learn the tips and the tricks and the things that you might not have thought of in the first place. And you can find it out so fast and so easily by just reaching out to these people. And I think that is something that is important to realize too, is it's the friendships and the, it's business, yes, but it's also like, we're all connected, and one person's success is eventually going to be our success too, if you just pay attention and keep asking and keep, putting your nose to the grindstone. And sometimes you just got to copy people too. It is what it is. I've heard so many good ideas from our friends, from you guys, and I've copied and had success. And it's a really cool thing to have that in this day and age.
Yeah, there's something really special about the asphalt industry that I've discovered, is that the support that's out there. Everybody wants to see everybody succeed. There's really almost no negative kind of, I'm taking from you, you're taking from me kind of a thing in that I've seen in so many other industries. Everybody genuinely wants to see everybody else succeed and do good work and make the industry as a whole a better place. And it's an amazing thing to watch and to be a part of.
Well, I think that's partly yourself. You're one of those people that made it like that, Scott, because I think Warren can vouch for me. It wasn't always like that. What used to be at the surface isn't what's at the surface now.
Not
And
at
Warren
all.
and Warren and I a long time ago realized we had some tough sledding, and we went through some battles and stuff like that back in the day. But you're absolutely right. It was leading by example, us creating that atmosphere and those things. So it worked out really good. We do got a question, and we'll pop to that real quick. Thankfully, who we got? I think that's Craig, right? Clean cut, I believe that's Craig. So he said, I jumped in about 5 minutes ago. Have you guys discussed crew and fleet size? If not, I'd be interested in hearing the size of the crew and the number of trucks. All right, so what we'll do is I'll switch back down to Scott. You can kind of give us a breakdown of the season, then you can touch on that question. And then Ryan, you can touch on that as well if you'd like to, and we'll bring it back up.
All right. Well, for my season recap, it was a bit of a struggle. I kind of put a lot of my efforts building this season last year into chasing a lot of commercial work. And then, the lockdown hit and most of my work contracts got canceled. So I spent the rest of the year trying to play catch up and finding the work that I could. But it did end up okay, and it has given me the opportunity I needed to really kind of look at the direction that I really want to take the business in, instead of just growth in every direction and trying to add every service that I possibly can to cover everything. It's making me sit down and try to think about what I really want to achieve here. Um, and then as far as the question about crew and fleet size, that's an awesome topic, because it can literally be just like me. I've got one guy that comes in full time during the summer, but you can do this solo. You can do this as a one man show if you set up your equipment right, if you set up your marketing right, and you can go out there and you can one man and do it all.
Yeah, it's been pretty epic to see one of our friends or one of my friends, and a guy that I look up to is Ernest Beckner, and he does U.S. asphalt maintenance. I think it is. I think that's the name of the business. He was one of the first guys that I seen that was my size that won a national pavement Expo award, or I'm sorry, Pavement Magazine, which would be award at the National Pavement Expo. It was for best marketing video. It was just him and his son, and they got this one truck. And later, when I got to know him, what was crazy about that moment is that when he won that award, he wasn't even there. He was in Florida on a huge project that he's like, I'll get the award whenever. He was committed to that huge project that they were doing, which was just him and his son, I believe. So it's kind of epic to see that you hit the nail on the head there. It's not really it's efficiency, right? And the efficiency is your costs versus your income. You can have 10 trucks, but if you're only doing a little bit to cover your bases, it's not going to be as efficient enough as if you were able to peel it out of one truck and do all those things. So Scott hit the nail on the head, and that's what we're looking for, I believe, right? Scott, is efficiency. We're looking for how we can make it, but also make money at the same time. Obviously, you're going to stretch yourself thin as you're growing and buying things, but there's a balance there that you got to try to find.
Yeah, absolutely. Planning's everything. Planning how your equipment's laid out in your trucks and your trailers, knowing what equipment you need, setting up your marketing so that it kind of funnels in a steady rate. There's
There's
just
a lot.
everything is in planning and watching your efficiency.
Yeah. How much money are you going to put here and here and here and here? And then also, you got to pay your bills. You got people to feed. There's mouths to feed, Warren.
And got to put a little something in your own wallet
Right.
You
once in
got
a
to put a
while
little
too.
in your wallet. That's right.
What I was
That's
going to
right.
say is that, really after your first year or two, you start seeing what's perfect for you. Like for us, three
Yes.
guys is perfect, and 100,000 square foot. When you get above that, we've got to add folks, we've got to add equipment,
Right.
and it took 2 or 3 years and 2 or 3 of those big, 150,000 square foot intimidating lots to say, okay, wait a minute, let's back down, let's look at 70,000 square foot, and really in our area, when you're getting those, you're getting the bigger lots anyway. For us, really 3 people, a 35,000 square foot lot is perfect because we can do 4 of those things a week.
Yeah.
And you just have to kind of figure that out.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say is like it's nice to get that 100,000 square foot lot, but you might need 6 guys or 8 guys to get that lot done in 2 units, but you don't need 6 guys the next day. You know what I mean? Or another unit the next day. So you kind of got to figure out, am I biting off more than I can chew or not? And what can I afford to upgrade right now and not? And I think if people have followed my journey at all, you'll see that it took a long time for me to bite off some of those big chunks because it didn't make sense early on for me to stretch myself thin and possibly break myself. I wanted to make sure that we were going to get there and could afford it as we grew and things like that. But let's jump down to Ryan. Ryan, we can get to the season recap and then tell us about the trucks and the units, which you can tell us about the equipment and the trucks and stuff, because you're one of the only guys that I know that has a crack filling trailer specifically, but it's not a Craftco pull behind unit or whatever. It's mainly built just for that. So a lot of guys are always trying to figure out how to squeeze their crack filling melters on their seal coat rigs, which is what I do. I run out of real estate, but go ahead and break that down a little bit for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll be quick on the season recap. The season was great. We did a lot of work. The weather, as always, was a pain in the butt for about a month of it. But we got through it, and it was successful. And I had the best year I ever had. It's me and 2 full-time employees. My wife does the administrative, so she does all the customer relations and scheduling and invoicing and collecting payments and whatnot. As far I want to get back to the trailer so I can tie it back into your conversation about the infrared earlier. The crack filling trailer is cool. It's got 2 30-gallon melters, and you could put another one on there if you'd like to. 2 30-gallon melters. One is direct fire, which means there's an actual flame that heats the bottom of the kettle. The other one is heated with infrared blankets. And it's the same basic technology as the infrared heater that you would use to do asphalt patching. The element might be a little bit different, but it's not flame. It's an element that is heated. So there's no flame, touching any of the product, which can damage asphalt or rubber. So it's one of those trailers that I built trying to sidestep the cost of a tow behind crack melter, which brand new could be, $60,000 or more than that. These direct fire units, or the smaller units, the 30-gallon melters, they're $1,500. So you buy 2 or 3 of those, you put them on a trailer, and you're pumping out rubber. I mean, you might not have a wand to apply with, but if you can use a walk behind, bander, or a speed bander of some sort to put this rubber down, and you have guys to do it, you can put down a ton of rubber at such a low cost to build this setup. And it's really kind of cool. And the technology for these smaller melters, maybe they're not as high tech with some of the electronics that can, keep the temperature regulated for you, but the cost is very, very manageable to buy these units. And you can stack them on a trailer, and you can have 2 or 3 of them, and you can put out just as much rubber as a guy with 1 tow behind. And I can swear by that. I've done it for half the year this year, and it's cool because you can, just put out this amazing product, make a lot of money, and you haven't spent nearly the initial investment. Because what happens if you spend $60,000 on a tow behind,
Or
and
30,
then
or 20
or 30, and you're not you didn't make your money, and it's not working out for you? Then what? I'd rather test out the waters with maybe some less expensive equipment, figure out if it's worth it, and then make the investment. And that's kind of how I've done things for my entire time in business. I've bought small, and I've figured out if this is going to be something that's going to make me money, and then I make a bigger investment.
What's your heat time on that soft heat? Yeah, what's your heat time on the soft heat?
The heat time is 15 minutes, and I'm talking like that's ready to go, 350 degrees, 15 minutes. You can, you get there, and you can drive with these things on too. You can drive. There's no flame to go out.
So real quick, I think we need to kind of educate some of the guys in the chats and the listeners on what we're talking about. So when it comes to melting rubber that you would put in cracks or crack filler, it comes in a block. You put it into either 2 types, right? One's direct fire.
Yes.
Most of the time it's 2 types, but now, Ryan's got a different type. It's direct fire, which means the flame is hitting the steel, which is touching the rubber, and that melts it down. And you apply that by hand. We say by hand, but it's not actually your hand. You'll use what's called a pour pot apparatus. And usually you squeegee that down with something called a V squeegee. It's kind of looks like a snow plow. You plow it down, right? And then the other one is an oil jacketed machine, which Is a lot more expensive, bigger. Most of the time, there's a wand with a pump that is pumping this unit out. You see it a
Mhm.
lot of times on roadways, highways, things like that.
Right.
It's usually a diesel-fired flame that heats a casing that is full of oil. Then the oil is not the oil itself, but the casing on the inside of the machine is touching the hot oil. That inside of the machine is touching the rubber that gets melted down, pumped out into the wand, and applied like that. The
Right.
one that Warren is asking Ryan about is called soft heat, and
Soft heat.
it's a modification to a direct fire unit where you actually put this modification on the bottom, and then it uses the same technology as that infrared heater that Warren and I were talking about to melt the rubber
Right.
inside of that thing, which used to be a direct fire melter, but now it's like kind of indirect heat, I guess you would say, and they call
Yeah,
it soft heat, right?
and they're starting to come out where they're pre-made. You don't have to make a modification. Right now, the one I bought, I had to modify my direct fire melter, but they're coming out where they're prefabbed to just be the infrared. It's a great, the heat time is great. It's just one of those things where you can because you have to crack, if you're going to be seal coating or doing any sort of asphalt maintenance, you have to crack seal. Some people are running companies where they don't do crack sealing, and I've always wondered, how is that even possible?
Especially where we live, up in the northern part of the United States. Down in the southern part of the United States, I see it a lot. But up
Right.
where we are, they go hand in hand. You almost
They
have
go
to.
hand in hand, and
You
it's
can
one
do
of
you can
those.
do crack filling without seal coating, but you shouldn't do seal coating without crack filling if there's cracks there.
Absolutely, and that just has to do with the quality, because you want to make sure that you're leaving behind just an absolutely waterproof surface. And if you have cracks that are accepting water,
Yeah.
and then like in the Northeast, you have the freeze thaw, you have to do the crack sealing. So these melters are a great way to get in inexpensively and provide a service that is just absolutely necessary in this industry.
Let's let Warren touch in on that, and then Scott
I was going to say the best
on
thing
that
to do is
topic about that, right?
when you follow up behind a guy that didn't crack seal, you've almost got a customer for life, because we get that a lot with guys that, and I get their theory is they can go put the sealer down and go home, but the crack seal, they don't realize just the fact that there's a profit to be made, and the customer sees that you're really trying to take care of their property.
Yeah,
and it almost always works out to a customer for life.
yeah, and a lot of times you'll have clients that have done it themselves, and they think, well, I just filled that with seal coat, I sealed it up, and then meanwhile it's busted wide open. They're like, oh, that didn't work at all, or I mixed it up real thick, put sand in it, mixed it up real thick, and put it in there. I was like, oh, it didn't work. No, it didn't work. So, Scott, do you want to chime in on that little fact as well?
Yeah, as far as crack sealing goes, it's kind of a no-brainer. Um, there's not really, at least much of a debate in my mind, is that uh, crack filling is more critical to the life of the surface than seal coating.
Yeah,
You've
once they're there,
just
for
got to
sure.
do it and
Yeah.
find some way to do it. There are good ways. There's tons of hot rubber products out there, but there are also three of you know that I've come up with a really good system for using cold pour, and it does work, but it takes a little more effort, and it took a ton of research to find a way to make it work. But for people starting out, or people that run a really lean operation, there is no excuse for skipping out on it other than just choosing not to. There is a way to do it.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. And I forgot to mention that third type of material to fill cracks too is cold pour. And sometimes we'll actually have some here, and client, we've had some in the back. We don't use it on any of our projects, but you'll have people that'll stop in and they'll come see the shop, and they'll be like, hey, do you happen to have a little something I can fix this over here with that? And we'll usually keep a gallon or two in the back and just hand it out. Be like, yeah, for sure. So there is a right way to do it the way that you're doing it,
Yeah, it,
Scott.
it took a lot of effort.
Yeah,
And
and we're not talking the stuff you buy at Menards or Ace
no,
Hardware, right?
no,
So
no.
I
I
think
I
I think that
spent
should be clear too, that it's not that material.
No, it's definitely not that stuff. I spent probably 2 years researching every product I could get my hands on, and then application methods and ways to get it in there that actually makes it work, and it can be done.
Yeah, and you got to make a video about that, Scott.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the first ones I do next season.
Cool. Perfect.
I think that would be great for people to see how to have that type of product maybe work a little bit better than they've experienced in the past, because I would be very interested in that too.
Yeah, I like it. I like that idea, and I'm gonna be looking for that one, Scott, because maybe I want to know. You never know. You never talk to me about it. Maybe I want to know about it. All right, so let's sneak on a little bit and move on. Oh, Warren and I, we should touch on trucks and men. I buy a lot of trucks. I don't need them all. I freak out that one of my trucks is going to break down, and then we're not going to go to work that day. So I try to keep a backup heavy truck and a backup light truck. Right now we have our 1-ton Duramax, which we've had forever. Everybody's seen that white beast, right? And it's still going strong. I love that truck. Hopefully always have it. And then we have a 3/4 ton, a 1/2 ton, and then this year I got rid of my 1/2 ton pickup truck that I estimate with and got a Suburban instead because I need more space to keep stuff indoors and out of that estimating truck. And it was getting cramped in that pickup truck. So that's what we have. And then when it comes to men this year, like I said, we would have myself, Chris, who's my crew lead. He's with me as well all the time. Cameron, who is my part-time guy. They were here all year. We did have an office person here this year, but I would hire guys on the weekends if we got some big project, right? And they had worked with us before, so their experience, we would try to pick those guys up for these huge projects that some of the stuff you've seen us post on the West Coast social media. Sometimes there was 6 guys, and sometimes we were hiring subcontractors out to do it as well. So, it worked out that way for us. So that's where we're at on that kind of stuff. Warren, you want to touch on that real quick, and then we'll go to Craig's question about how we do marketing. Always a fun topic. So
Yeah, we've so crew size is, I think you guys know, but for the 6 years it's been my dad and I, and it's still that way. He's 70 years old and still tells everybody he can work circles around me, and so I let him go out and prove it every day. And then we have a third guy that we use pretty regular, and then a few just like you, we've got some guys we pick up on the weekends if we have a bigger project. Some friends of mine that have worked here with me, and we worked at the airport together, so we did asphalt maintenance there. Just some guys like that. Trucks, we've got 2 trucks. We've got a 1-ton flatbed that we just added this year, and then our 1/2 ton. We had a 3/4 ton that we got rid of and upgraded to the 1-ton. Then I've just got a 1/2 ton pickup. I'm like you. The problem I see with the fleet is I'm already outgrowing my space between the hot box and trailers and trucks and just everything. You wind up outgrowing it fast if you're not careful. I like to pick up stuff when I find a deal, and sometimes that's a bad thing.
that can't be a bad thing. You don't got too many yard ornaments, do you? Warren?
Ask my wife.
Fair. Oh, you guys are supposed to tell me I'm on mute, right? When I'm on mute and talking. So right now we'll go ahead and touch on Craig's question about how we do marketing. So when we talk, when all of us get together, sometimes in that clubhouse, I think last winter there was like 60 people in there that are from our industry. Granted, we all weren't on the panel talking, but there's still 60 people in there. This is one of the most common questions we get on how we do this. This is stuff that I've talked about for a long time and spoke on about is how we market. I don't have to work so hard at it anymore, thankfully, because we really push building your brand, right? That's our thing, building your brand, building your brand. So my everybody knows what I'm going to say when people ask what they should do for marketing. Facebook ads times 1,000 is always my go-to. I believe even after this long, they're still undervalued for the return if they're done correctly. And that's the biggest problem is I get people that say, "Well, I boosted a post for $1,000 and got 2 calls." It's like, well, you didn't do it how it should be done. You have to research it. Don't just throw money at it. Make sure you're doing it right. It's like anything else. So for me, that's what we do. We do social media. When I do it, I don't do it very often at all anymore. The brand is there. Sometimes I wish the phone would quit ringing so we could get caught up. So when I first started out, though, I really had to make sure that we made it personal when we made our Facebook ads, um, and that we targeted the group that we wanted to target, get something relatable. We would turn it around, tell them a lot of times, who we were, where we are, what they can expect. Same as if you were going to do a TV ad with yourself on it, right? So that's what I do quite a bit. We do yard signs as well. I often see great returns on yard signs if they're strategically placed on the good jobs. They're $5 a piece most of the time. So I try to put them where they should go. And that's pretty much
The
it for
prices
us.
on those things have gone way up in the last 2 or 3 years.
Oh, dude,
Yard
yeah.
signs, unbelievable.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And so a lot of times we'll get back to the shop and they'll be stuck outside of our shop where somebody brought them back. I'm like, oh, thank God. I've got hard telling where they came from. So that's what we do when it comes to marketing at Wiscoat. It's all social media, and I try to use Facebook. Where we are, we're pretty rural. A lot of our clients, I know I talked to Warren about our percentage that we do. We're still probably 70 residential percentage, 70%, and then 30% commercial. Some years it fluctuates 10% either way, whatever. But with that much residential, a lot of people are using social media, but they're not going to be using Instagram or TikTok or whatever to find us, right? So most of the time, our clients are going to be on Facebook, and that's where my best ROI is on Facebook. We're in the phone book, but man, I don't do a big ad, and we don't do newspaper, we don't do billboards. I always try to give and donate to anything that is going on, a fundraiser or things around. But when it comes to marketing, that's what I choose. Warren, we'll go around the loop again. You might as well just keep going around the loop around the clock. Warren, you go ahead and chime in and let me know what you think.
So yeah, I'm with you. This was the first year I really did a lot with Facebook ads, and I still don't think I don't have that secret formula that you got to make them work. But they were great for us. Most of ours really comes from our customers, sharing what we do. And then we've got a steady following of people that have become friends, that share everything we do on Facebook. Google My Business, man, that thing has been huge. Not just putting it up there and leaving it. You have to update it. You have to answer everything that comes across from Google My Business. But now that the analytics are there and you know how many people called you from that, it's tremendously jumped on for us. And then we ran a radio, it's brand awareness. Just like you said, we did a radio ad this year. And I think that probably was the kickoff for our season that I would say filled the first 2.5 months of our season was that radio ad.
Isn't that crazy? We have a radio station here, and I've probably advertised on 5 radio stations. I don't think I got a return on any of them until I got to the local radio station right here that plays old country, and all of a sudden, boom, it took off. So I think that depends as well. You got to feel that out as well. And like you kind of hinted to it earlier, Warren. Like the way you grow your business, the way you market your business, everything depends on location wise, where you are geographically, who you're marketing to. All that needs to be taken into account. There's no secret that there's no cutout. Hey, this is how you do it,
right?
Because you're gonna miss more than likely unless you got a pulse on.
We've tried tons of things that failed miserably. The digital TV ads that are in the restaurants, those things were just the biggest waste of money ever. When I went to the radio ad, I'll be honest with you, I went to talk radio just because I was thinking of the client who listened to talk radio and their thought processes. And not to get into politics, but we hit a block on Rush Limbaugh before he passed away. And we picked a certain day of the week, a certain time of day, because we knew people would be going to lunch. And you could see the results, like the calls would start coming in on, if you did the ad on Tuesday, by Wednesday, you're getting calls. And it was just nothing more than it was brand aware. They heard it every Tuesday 6 times in an hour and a half. And it was just repetitive. They finally drive in and look at their driveway and go, oh, yeah, that guy that's on the radio, we need to call him. Yeah. And it's just, you have to start thinking like that. There's no die cut. There's no magic marker.
There's not. It's one of those things you got to try. And if you don't get it, you don't hit it. You know what I did, Warren, is on Saturday we have something called the byline. I don't know if you all have that where you're at. Like they'll put stuff on the radio that people have for sale, and they call in, and then like they'll say, "Hey, I'm selling a chicken coop for $100. Call me at blah 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 blah." And I was like, "I want to be on that spot." And the guy, the guy's like, "That's the spot you want?" I said, "Yes." I said, "The people are sitting there with a pen and paper. Like, I want that spot right there." So, I think that might have been, part of the success is I knew that they had a pen and paper if they were paying attention to that segment. I was like, "All right, if I even get 1 or 2, it's gonna be worth it." So, let's, bump down to Scott. We'll talk marketing real quick, and then Ryan, and then I'm gonna jump up to another question, that I seen up here, but we'll go ahead and hit Scott and then Ryan about that.
Well, let's see here. There's this question that popped up to
Yeah,
me from
answer that one,
Bedell.
Scott. Yeah.
We'll handle that one real quick. The mixing console behind me, it's an older Eurodesk 24 channel. It's just one I've got kind of laying around down here to bang some stuff out on. So nothing special, nothing particularly awesome, but it does work. Marketing. I was one of the Facebook ad failures. I never really quite figured out how to put those together effectively and get a real return out of them. But what I did do was I did my own SEO on my own website, and within the St. Louis metropolitan area, uh, no matter what zip code you're in, I am consistently in the top 3 for Google searches. So having your Google business page up and running well is absolutely critical and worth every minute that you put into it.
Yeah, Google, you mean Google My Business, right, Scott?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a big topic. Warren was talking about it. You talked about it. We talked about it a lot
Yeah.
going into this season, right? So yeah, keep going.
Yard signs, having branding on your vehicles, all simple basic stuff. My favorite one is just what I call community involvement. There's always a little league fundraiser, raffle, auction, dinner, kind of a, they do a trivia night. Things are a really big deal here in St. Louis. And there's always somebody looking for, hey, can you donate a gift certificate? So I donate gift certificates for a free residential driveway. And they're very popular, and it's tons of awareness because I only give one, but everybody's doing like the silent auction and they're trying to outbid each other for it. So I wind up capturing, I give one driveway away, and I wind up capturing 4, 5, 6 driveways from paying customers that, hey, I saw you there. Want to thank you for, supporting the community. I missed out on the auction, but hey, can you swing by and give me an estimate and let's get my driveway done anyway. And that's been a great payoff, and it's a complete win-win. Charity gets something, we
You
get
get
extra
something.
business out of it, and it's just awesome. It's my favorite.
That's brand building, man. Is what it is. It's we've talked about it a lot when we communicate that I think somebody said 7 touches before it sticks. Like, oh yeah, this is the guy that does seal coating, or this is the company that does seal coating. So if you can get in front of somebody 7 times, which maybe where Warren and I are, it don't take 7 times, or even where you are, Scott, just once, like, oh, that's the guy. But you have to keep the presence out there. And some people might think that's egotistical. I've been called out for that a little bit, but I don't think it's an ego thing. I think, hey, we have value. We want to bring this value to you. And if my face is everywhere and Wiscoat is everywhere where they turn their heads and take a look, I'm pretty sure they're going to call us when they need something. So, Scott, thank you very much.
You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, Ryan, tell us about marketing. I want to know how you market something called Ginger Cat Seal Coating.
Well, talking about ego, we all are our company.
Well,
So
yeah, you
it's
definitely are.
the personality is
named
going to
it
come
after
out.
yourself.
It's not egotistical. It's we decided to do this, and we're using whatever we have to build this. And if it's if it's your look or anyone's look or whatever it is, a logo, go with it. If it's recognizable. I did a lot of work this past winter. So we're coming into the winter season. So last winter, and through the clubhouse meetings, I met up with some really brilliant people when it comes to how to properly build a website to direct traffic to it. I learned a lot of things. I asked a lot of questions aside from the clubhouse meetings. I would reach out to people. I think one of the guys was James Martinez. He gave me some really good information. So it's basically what I did was I just went to town on my website, figured out how to get traffic going to it. The Google My Business listing is part and parcel to the website because those two things are connected, in my opinion, in the digital world. Figuring out how to get good original content going throughout the year, getting a good logo, getting good reviews on your Google business listing, and just having that website worded properly and built properly. And you don't have to hire someone. You can find out how to do this on your own. I am not a digital guru whatsoever. I just ask a million questions like I'm a 5-year-old. And then I remember what these people say. And the website traffic that I've encountered this year is unbelievable. We had 600 people make requests through the website this year. Another couple hundred phone calls from the website. But, I have a request form built right on there. I've learned how to get that so that whether people go to my Facebook page or my website, they can just have one simple request form that all goes back to one place. So it's very easy to manage, very easy to navigate the website itself. It's simple, but it's not too simple where it just looks so generic you're turned off by it. So these little details, they go a long way. And try to be original is what I would suggest to anyone that's trying to build a website. You can use a pre-formatted template, but you got to put your own little touches on there, and it's very easy to do, and it goes a long way to having people remember your name.
So we have two things, right? So we have if somebody is sitting at their house, they look at their driveway, and I'm gonna get to Rodney Hilton, who's in the chat, which is awesome. So I'm excited about that. I see him over there. But there's two things, right? If somebody's looking at their driveway and they're like, I need to get this seal coated, they open up Google, type in seal coating, here we are, right? We all pop up.
Right.
That's the one tactic. The other one is if they're not thinking about their driveway getting seal coated, right? It's not on the forefront of their brain, but yet they're on Facebook, and all of a sudden there's a sponsored ad,
Right.
and they're like, oh yeah. So those are the two big things, right? Those are the two big things.
I try to be
and aware.
Absolutely. And I try to be picky about when I'm running my ads. I'm not doing it all the time. I'm doing it at the start of the season, at the end of the winter, when people, they can see their driveway finally, because we're in the Northeast, we might have a bunch of snow and ice built up on it. Or around the time they're out, cleaning up their yard after the winter. We'll run some sponsored ads, and they see that and they're outside anyways. It's the first time they've been outside in a month. And it's just, sometimes you got to time things. Like you were saying earlier, you don't want to just throw money at it blindly. You got to be kind of smart about it and figure, that it's March. I'm not seal coating yet, but I would like to pad my client list. So I'm going to run a sponsored ad. Everyone's outside anyways, doing yard work. In the middle of the summertime when I'm already slammed with work, I'm not running sponsored ads. I'm putting out yard signs and those things. Another thing too about yard signs, if you're a company that uses yard signs, don't ever go back and pick up your yard sign. You leave that thing out for as long as possible. I don't care if they're $5 a piece. I've had yard signs stay on people's yards for
forever.
3 months.
Yeah.
that's free advertising right there.
Yeah, that's one of those touches like Scott and I were talking about. That's
I've got a commercial client that's got the same yard sign that I put in there 5 years ago.
Yeah, they mow around it.
It's sitting their parking lot right in their kind of like little landscaped border, and it's the same sign's been there for 5 years.
Yeah, don't get
but just to touch back real quick on Ryan had said about building your own website. I've seen just crazy amounts of money that people charge to do these, and I'm sure they're multimedia experiences and they're SEO halfway across the planet, and they're amazing, they're beautiful, but the website that I have is just very plain, very basic, but I did it myself in like an hour. And once a month, every other month, I go back and I tweak it a little bit. And then over the winter, in the off season, I go back through the website and I hit the SEO optimizations again, and I redo the my Google Business. And the off season's the time to hammer that stuff out and refresh all of that. But you can absolutely do it yourself, and it doesn't take a lot of money or time either.
Yeah, and you more than likely you can find somebody that would do it for a low fee if that's all you're looking for, right? And that the site that we won the best of the web award for, which technically I guess it was our website, but it's also everything else that we've done at Wisco, right, throughout the years. Brian Ring, who is in the green industry, who I'm sure a lot of people that are watching know, he does my website. It's very simple. I want it to be simple. I want the people that find it just click the button that says "call me," right? I don't want I want them to see, oh yeah, they do good work. There's the button to call me. There's the button to send an email. Like I don't want a big elaborate thing. I want them to see what we do. But more than likely, if they're at our website, they probably heard about us already, or they found us on Google. So there you can already read the reviews, do whatever. But how can we get them to us a lot quicker, a lot better? Real quick, I want to touch some stuff I see over in the comments real quick. Rodney Hilton wanted to add to it that he sets a tent up at like expos and things like that. I have done expos. I found a great return on expos. I love doing them. We don't do them anymore, obviously, but starting out to get yourself in front of people, if you have a local home and garden show or something like that, buy a table, set some cards up, put your nicest, the less amount of sealer clothes that you have on. If it has a few specs, just say that it was made like that because of your seal coater, whatever it is. Get in front of people, start shaking hands, get personable, and then it's one of those touches. It's for building brands and things like that. Randy Abear is over there on the other side too. He's from our industry. Just wanted to say what's up. I do want to touch on a question that I've seen from Nicole. And it was, what was our biggest inspiration that decided us to pursue what we do? And how long have we been in the industry? I'm going to modify it a little bit because I don't know that we really had super big inspirations, but I do want, and she said, who or what, right? So the what is, why the heck did we even start doing this in the first place, right? Obviously with me, it's been a family thing. So I just wanted to build a brand. I wanted to build a brand. That's exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a presence. And when somebody picked up their phone book, which back when I started, did people still use phone books? They flipped and they seen us, and that's what they called. Or they knew ahead of time to ask somebody else while they're sitting down drinking coffee at a table at a breakfast joint, who do I get? And they say our name. So that's why I got into it. A family thing, but I wanted to build my business that way. And this is our 17th year. When the calendar clicks over, it'll be 18 years. I did not know what I was doing.
Congratulations! I didn't realize you were in business for that long. That's amazing, man.
Hey, man, the first 10 years was a nightmare, man. I didn't know what I was doing. I was young and naive, and it wasn't until I started creating a community of people that we could find that I started to learn how to do this the right way. And like you were saying, Ryan, thankfully we have that because it fast tracks us, it keeps us from learning mistakes. Which that was another question. What are some mistakes that you made right away? One of my ones that I would say is don't let pride get in the way of you building your business, right? Everybody wants to think they know whatever and did it all on their own. Those guys that are thinking that, if you have a good set of friends and mentors, you're going to pass them beyond that. And more than likely, there is somebody that wants to help you. You just have to ask the right people. So let's jump on to Nicole's question real quick of why we got into doing this, which I touched on. We'll go Warren, Scott, and Ryan. And how long,
All right. So for me, it'll be 7 years when the calendar goes over January 1st. That'll be my 7th year in business. Who, what, and all that good stuff. The why was I wanted to find something I could do, on my own, not work for somebody else. I've always done something. It really started out as a side gig. And when I realized the potential, year one, I said, in 5 years, if I'm not making enough money to jump into this thing, then I need to find something new. I've done that with several different things. And this is the one that within 5 years, I really enjoyed doing it and was able to make it work. And a lot of that goes back to the community because, man, I live, eat, and breathe this stuff. A lot of y'all, know that. I've managed to make friends like Marvin and you guys all over the country, and it's like a small family. So now that's, I guess if you want to say it, that's what the inspiration is just to see what those guys can tell me and teach me and bring to the table. And everybody thinks, oh, it's just slapping sealer on the ground, but there's always new stuff to pick up, and there's always new traits to learn, and it's always a challenge. I think that was the biggest inspiration. It's just a challenge to grow a business, and the branding thing for me wasn't so big at first. Being a brand at first wasn't really a thing for me, but as we've grown and that's become it's cool to be in it's stuff like this here. It's cool to be involved and be able to help guys. I mean, there's been so many guys that I've always thought I can't help these guys. I don't know
I
anything.
don't believe it.
But,
I don't believe that.
But then
Warren.
when they start calling you and asking you, when the guys start calling you and asking you, hey, what do you think? I had a friend that's involved in a pretty big jump, if you will, for his business, and he called me to ask my advice, and I was like, what are you doing calling me? You're doing 10 times what I do. Why are you asking me? And so that continues to inspire me to know that that I've helped some guys, plus they can just continue to help me go too.
I'll show you something real quick. I jumped off camera real quick because I wanted to show you something, right? So we do all of our striping in-house, most of it now, right? But in 2017, I didn't do striping in-house. I had no clue how to do striping.
I know
So
what it is.
So where was I? I was at GIE, and look at this. That says Warren Johnson, GIE 2017. This is Warren's feeble attempt to show me what striping arms and guns look like. So I made him sign this because I said that one day we're going to wish we had this thing, right? This is Warren Johnson, GIE 2017. This is the
Put
first
that
time
in a
we ever
glass
met.
case. That thing is priceless.
It's on the wall, dude. It's on the wall here. Look at Warren's attempt to show me what a striping machine and arms look like. Now I know what they look like. And then he said you're going to penguin walk, right, Warren? You said you're going to penguin walk. That's what you got to do.
You're going to walk like a penguin.
So Warren knows what he's talking about.
Hey, I told you I wasn't an artist when we started with that.
No, you definitely were right about that. But you did enough. You've done enough, that's for sure. And I cherish it. So pretty cool. All right, let's sneak down. Scott, you want to touch on why you got into the industry, and you can briefly go over again how long you've been in the industry.
This was my 6th season. In I guess my current era. What got me into the industry was in college. Had a roommate that had a trailer and a tank and a truck, and he was just doing it in the summer for extra money while he was in college. And I did it with him for a couple of seasons, and then he got married and done with school and went off and did his thing, and so did I. And I never really got it out of my head or the smell out of my nose. It just kind of stuck into my blood. And fast
You must have been
forward,
using coal tar. That's what happens when you use
Yep.
coal tar.
But fast forward a couple of decades later, and I was looking for kind of a new direction to go into, something more for me than the career I had been doing, and with a lot of encouragement and support from family and my kids, um, we came up with a business plan, and the numbers made sense, and we invested the money, and that was it. And we keep managing to have enough money left over after expenses and payroll and new equipment at the end of the season to have enough money left to go and do it again next year. So we just keep doing it.
Cool. That's gonna end up being probably one of the best stories, because down the line you're just gonna be like, man, there was a time when we just were getting by. I look back on that. Like I said, I've been in it a long time. I've been in it longer than I've been in it for myself. But you know, I spent 10 years, and I was like, dude, something has to give. And that's why when I first started going to GIE, paying attention to the green industry and their community, and figured out how to find these people in our community too as well. So very cool, and I'm thankful that you all are part of it and part of this big journey we're on.
Absolutely. And this year was my first year going to GIE, and man, that was an incredible experience.
I missed you. I
And
missed you by
yeah,
this much.
I know.
Yeah.
I saw taillights.
Yeah.
But that whole experience has opened kind of my mind up to other possibilities. what direction do I want to take the company now? Do I want to maybe add some of this green industry stuff to it? And that's going to be my winter project, is all the research and number crunching and hard discussions that I had 6 years. Well, actually, it was more like 8 years ago, because I spent 2 years before I started the company actually doing all the research before I even started it. Just because that's just kind of the way my brain works. I wanted to make sure I had as much information, as many questions answered before I got there. And but yeah, now I'm thinking about other possibilities now too.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's the way it goes. You kind of go, when I first went to NPE, um, I was mind blown to see what the possibilities were, for my industry. When I first went to GIE, I seen the possibilities for the community. And I was like, oh, dude, I have to figure out how to do this. Then when I went to NPE to start that community and help start that community, Warren, uh, it just was mind blowing. I said, okay, this is inspirational. So let's go ahead and put some use to it at least. So let's touch on Warren. You want to say something about us at NPE in 2017?
I will say, for anybody that's in the industry, thinking about getting in the industry, or just wants a glimpse of the industry, go to the if you're close to the show, get to it, and at least go to the exhibition hall. That's where the network is made. I mean, between the vendors and the guy, I mean, there was nobody, the first one I went to in 2015, running around taking photos and videos of everybody, and then Marvin started doing it, and then I think several of us are doing it now. And
I look like a fool.
But
Remember that, Warren?
the network that you make from that, huh?
I looked like a
Say
fool.
again?
Do you remember that, man? People were like, "What is this
Oh,
guy
we always do.
doing?" And then sometimes like, Warren, will you hold my camera? Like I had to use a legit camera
Yep.
because we didn't have a camera phone. I was like, Warren, will you like film me do this? And he's like, oh God. I'm like, yeah, well, if someone's got to do it. It might as well be us.
Well,
So, and now look,
that's the price you pay for seeing.
that's right. That's right. All right, Ryan, real quick, tell us how you got into it. I like this story. I know it, but go ahead.
I got into it. I was working with a guy, and this is back in 2012 or 13, maybe. I was working with a guy that he did it on his own part-time. He had buckets of sealer from Home Depot, and he was telling me, oh, I'm making all this money on the extra, seal coating driveways. And that like stuck in my head for a couple years. And I ended up I lost a job, got another job, and I was like in between kind of like where my income was at. So I thought back to this guy who was telling me about seal coating. So I'm gonna try that. I just would like to make some extra money. And I did went on Craigslist, and I got 2 or 3 people over the course of a summer to hire me to do their driveways. And I did just such a terrible job, just absolutely the worst job ever. And it was so tough. And that's when I got onto the Facebook forums, because I wanted to make this work, because it's a very accessible industry for someone just wanting to start a side gig. It is not a lot of huge investments or anything. You can just, it's accessible to anyone to start this. And that's what was intriguing to me. And I knew I could make something work. I just needed to like figure out a better way to do it. And that was in 2014. I kind of got more legitimate with how I was going to do the jobs, techniques, tools, materials. And then I was doing it part-time from 2014 to 2017. And I lost another job because I am the way I am. I'm wound up pretty tight, and I am very opinionated and whatnot. So at that point, I was like, I am not meant to be working for someone else. I need to work for myself and make myself the leader of my own life. And I had just taken all the knowledge from the forums and from you guys and from anyone else I was asking, and went with it. And at that point, I already had a pretty good list of clients that were calling. Nothing crazy, but it was enough to subsist on. And I never looked back. That was 2017. And I've still just been nerding out on asphalt maintenance ever since then, trying to figure out the best way to do things, the best materials, products, little tips and tricks and marketing. And on top of that, you know, getting serious with the business side of things and becoming a business person, not just a seal coater. So it's been a life-changing last few years. I've immersed myself in this industry and trying to be my own, you know, boss and create my own, you know, kind of destiny. And it's been great. And it has not come without its fair share of hardships. There's been tons of times where I've, you know, palm to face, like, what did I just do? Or I'm messing up right now, or this is really tough. It's not going good. But every year has been a growth year, and I'm very fortunate, and I will not stop anytime soon, and I will never stop asking questions. And that's just what you got to do as someone who's branching out on your own. You just have to really just go with the flow and go with the ups and downs and celebrate the victories. And the tough times are a lesson, you know, I'm not going to learn any lessons unless I mess something up. And that's kind of where I'm at with my life. But
well, you're always going to have to ask questions, man, because there's always going to be stuff that we encounter, whether we're leveling up or something breaks on a machine. And what's funny is that we know kind of who has what machines, right? And we know what they've been through. So if something goes up, because of the community we've created, you know who to ask right away. There's been times when something's broke and instantly I post and I'm like, you know, or I'll direct message if I have to. But most of the time I post to one of our Facebook groups or whatever, where I know somebody's encountered that problem. Like, what is going on with this thing? And if someone's like, oh, it's just this. I'm like, oh, thank God. You know, and you tighten it up or add this part or let some pressure off or whatever. So, you know, I think that's the key. And, you know, when we talk about this kind of stuff that we're doing here on Echo Means Business, this is another extension of our community, right? We're growing. And I think that's, like you were saying, Ryan, you and Scott, you know, we've been in these Facebook groups, and now here we are asking Ryan about this soft heat thing, because none of us know exactly how it is or what it does. This is our turn. It's our time to give back, to grow our community, to keep it at that level that Scott was talking about, where the positive stuff is at the top and the negative stuff is underneath there. It used to be just, you know, when somebody got kicked, everyone else put their boots on and went to town too. And now it's different. It doesn't happen. Usually that stuff gets pushed out of the way right away. So I'm really thankful for that. I do want to say hi to Chris Filippelli. You guys all know him here that's on the panel. He's over there at Surface Solutions. I see him over there commenting. He asked if we're all going to MPE this year. We are going at Wiscote. You guys want to give a head nod if you're going, or a shrug if you don't know if you're going? Or
I would love to. It depends on what the weather's doing, because we do plowing and snow removal.
Yeah, the weather outside is frightful right now.
Yeah, we're about 60-40. We're
6 years and counting.
Probably gonna go, but we still haven't confirmed yet. One of the just silly little comment I want to throw in there is that the learning curve between being able to do this just as a task and doing it well as a trade is relentless. There is, for what seems like such a simple thing, there is so much that you can learn, and it's changing every day. New products, new technologies, some of these new synthetic sealers that are coming out. It's a lot to keep up with. It's not just pouring a bucket on the ground and putting a mop to it.
No, and one of the things I wanted to touch on tonight, which we won't, you know, as we're running past an hour and then some, because we could talk about it forever, is the importance of surface prep and how to do it absolutely correctly to get great adhesion, right? And like you were saying, Scott, it's not just simple as, I blew it off the leaf blower, poured sealer on and put it on. And then people wonder why their sealer didn't stick. They say, oh, this stuff's junk. It might not be junk. It might just be that it wasn't applied correctly and wasn't prepped. That is the absolute best thing, I think, that is our biggest topic. You know,
75% prep, 25% actually laying down material. Or even more than that.
Yeah. In 6 years of all the jobs that I've done, I have had exactly one job where I had material failure. Every other time where something went wrong, it was absolutely my fault. It was something that I didn't prep, didn't catch,
Yep.
didn't see. But
Yeah.
yeah,
We could have that for a whole nother
all in the
topic.
prep.
Because Ryan, he wants to talk about pressure washing in the worst way. I know he does. See those eyes? Yeah, I told you he wants to talk about it, but I'm not going to let him. We're going to save that.
No, I'll go off on a tangent.
I know. They want it done today. Like they want at least to end this today, Ryan. So, yeah. And real quick, I'd love to come to a close here as we're approaching the hour and 15 minutes. I want everybody, because this is our first kind of foray into Echo Means Business and to a lot of green industry, how do I want to say it, consumers, community members. I kind of wanted to let them know where they can find us at. There are a lot of seal coating Facebook groups. There's only a few of them that I think we frequent. We try not to frequent them as often as we used to, but that is where you can find a lot of information. There's search bars there. You can type in whatever and you can find whatever. So you can definitely find us all on Facebook. I know that for a fact. But where else? With Wiscoat on Instagram, you get at Wiscoat, at Blacktop Banter. Same thing on Facebook. Blacktop Banter has TikTok, which is a lot of fun. I would much rather just do that all day. But Sam doesn't. He doesn't believe in TikTok, I guess. But either way, that's kind of where you can find us. Obviously, Facebook, you can find me on Facebook. You can find us there. Any questions or whatever, you can always get to me. But let's go around the loop one more time. Warren, Scott, Ryan, where can people find you online?
So most of the time I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I tried a YouTube channel and I just couldn't get over the hump. I think I'm going to try that again. And then
I don't think I even got over
like
the
I
hump
said
on
before,
YouTube.
I'm a big advocate for. I get right.
Yeah.
The big thing for me is information. So I got to push Pavement Guru, pavementguru.com, because there is just a ton of information on there. You can go in. You don't have to log in. You can just go in and ghost that thing for days. I'm like Ryan said, asphalt nerd. It's hilarious that you use that term because I use it all the time. So those are the big places where I'll be.
Cool. Scott?
And it's Seal Coat Kid. I forgot to leave.
What
I don't know.
What was that? Seal Coat Kid?
Yeah. Yep, that's where I'm at. That's my thing on a lot of it.
All right. Seal Coat Kid. Where did I see that? Where did I see Seal Coat Kid? Is that on TikTok?
Everywhere.
Or it's a clear choice on TikTok.
That's Instagram.
Oh, it's on Instagram.
Yeah, I changed it. I actually changed it. I didn't know TikTok had a business account.
Yeah.
So I just changed it. But yeah, Seal Coat Kid was YouTube and Instagram. Now it's just Instagram.
You're a businessman now. You gotta have business accounts. You're a businessman now, Warren. All right, let's sneak over to Scott. Scott, where can people find you online, bud?
You can find me for Arch City Seal Coating, for Facebook and Instagram. My YouTube channel is Blacktop Tech Talk, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, people can find us. You and I, for sure, have put some stuff out on echomeansbusiness.com as well.
Yes,
right?
that too.
So
I've got another couple of those in the can ready to send over too.
Cool. It's going to be exciting times. Exciting times. All right, let's sneak over and Warren, you got a band playing behind you. I can hear it.
Oh, I forgot to silence.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Oh,
yeah.
sultry. Those smooth, sultry sounds of clear choice seal coating and striping.
Right.
Setting the mood.
I'm trying out a co-working space.
Yeah.
And I have no control over the music in the space.
That's all right.
I forgot to mute my mic. Sorry.
That's all right. It's a vibe. I could totally hear it. Ryan?
I'm digging it.
Yeah, I was going to say, we could get down to that. We could play to that. So, Ryan, where can people find you online and find Ginger Cat Seal Coating? Because
you can go on gingercatsealcoating.com. That's the main website. It's got all sorts of information on there. What we do, where we're located, and I'm always
right.
I'm on Instagram, RB Wrench Neck. I'm not there as a business yet. I haven't really delved into Instagram as a
Facebook,
business.
Though.
Facebook, definitely Ryan Bean. I'm on the Facebook groups too. I'll name drop a couple that I think are very useful if you'd like to get into it and find some information and some helpful people. I think the Asphalt Seal Coating Coalition is a great one, and I think that U.S. Seal Coaters is turned the corner and is more positive than negative right now. You can find some great information on there.
Yeah.
So those 2 Facebook groups, I'm a part of both of them. I'm kind of hanging from the rafters in each one, and I'll dive down when I feel like I'm needed.
I like how you said turn the corner. It reminds me of like Bitcoin price. Like sometimes it's
Yeah.
up, sometimes it's down.
It is, man.
Sometimes
It's the
up,
hills and the valleys.
sometimes it's down. It is that W pattern. Cool.
Yep.
Cool. Well, I really appreciate everybody being on here. I appreciate you guys plugging everything and joining me. I'm grateful to have you guys as friends and join me on these types of things. And I'm really thankful that none of you said no when I kind of, said, hey, would you help me out with this thing? So very cool. All right. You can find this entire video will be on echomeansbusiness.com. And if you're a member on echomeansbusiness.com, you can find it. Just go there. It's real simple. Register. And you can find this. It's also on their podcast, so you don't have to watch the video. You can find that on there as well. And you can find other sessions as well on echomeansbusiness.com. And there's a ton of information on there. I have found useful business information from the green industry pros that have posted on there that have helped me out in our industry. So it's worked out really well. And there's a great amount of info on there. I believe Scott is going to be posting. I'm going to be posting. Maybe we can get these two guys to post a little bit on there as well. But it's got some great info. Please hop over there. We would love to have any other asphalt industry and asphalt maintenance, contractors get over there and join that as well. Let me get some final words. Warren, you got any final words? We'll go around the loop one more time. Final words.
No, been a good time. Appreciate you guys. Ryan, first time getting to really talk to you in person, so enjoyed it. Scott, Marvin, we'll see y'all at the next one.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, great discussion. A lot of cool things we covered, and hopefully people watching got something useful out of it, and maybe got inspired to consider adding another service.
Yeah. Ryan, one more. Final words, Ryan.
Yeah, I just want to wish everyone good luck in the new year. And if you're looking to try to start something or improve what you already have with this industry or anything else, just everyone good luck. And just remember, take your time. You don't got to speed. A speed demon is not someone who's going to be successful long term. Take your time with this, particularly in this industry, and you're going to have a lot of success.
Cool, man. I really appreciate it once again, guys. That's going to be it for us. So I want to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas to all of you. Everybody be safe. Looking forward to talking to you all again real soon. And thanks to Echo Means Business for letting us get on here and kick it like we usually do, but we're in their house. So I think we did great. I don't think anyone's going to have to clean anything up or anything like that. We didn't make a mess. So hopefully they'll have us back. So thanks again. Thanks to everybody that tuned in as well. And thanks again to echomeansbusiness.com.